start recording. All right, I guess we're good. At least I really hope we're good, because if we're not, this VOD's going to be very sad. Our three viewers are going to be absolutely heartbroken. So let's start off strong with literally anybody telling me what happened last time. Well, hold on, guys. Not all at once. Come on, one at a time. Yeah, that's, you know what? You don't get to make that excuse too many times. I'm going to give you the one. Oh my gosh, somebody's keeping count. It sure is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty close, but I like Celebrate too. But Celebron. Yeah, that all sounds good to me. Let's keep in mind a lot of this stuff is just in my head and swirling around. Uh, but my recap had 4 bullet points. Oh yeah. No, I love your guys' bullet points. Like I love hearing what your guys' notes are because they tell me what you thought was important, and then I can compare that to what I thought was important, and then we can make a nice like middle ground. Because otherwise, if I'm just caring about what I think is important, then man, I'll just write a book. Yeah, yeah. I mean that. You know what? We'll see how the dice go. Uh, that's pretty much. I think that was an incredibly thorough recap, and I don't think I have any notes. A plus. Yep. Yep. Uh, I love that I was going through my notes and trying to think if there was anything that I missed, and I almost read out loud a massive spoiler, and I caught myself in the last second. Whew. Okay. Jacob's here. So we are picking up on the night before Telemar's arrival. Uh, it is, I'm going to say generously, like late evening. You might be able to squeeze in a meeting with someone if you really want to. They may be eating dinner or something, but it's possible. And so I always like to open up a session by asking, what do you guys want to do? No. I feel like you could probably throw a gun pretty well. Yeah, that's on the test though. All right, listen, son, how hard can you throw this? For an emergency. Mm-hmm. Racklin did say it would probably be at the earliest tomorrow evening. You know what? Thanks to, I'm going to say magic, 0. Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah. No, it is not a flat Earth. I'm going to say, just completely making this up, that the planet we are on is so big that even if you split it into 24 sections, this entire island chain is all in one section. Bam. Please? Uh, Not really. Like, when he woke up, he definitely knew that he had tripped the security system, but like, hey, he didn't remember dying so much. Kind of time fixed that. In fact, I would say generously, he almost doesn't remember any of the damage that he took. Almost, Sav. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yep. Dang. Oh, how convenient. Andromeda was just hanging out in May's office. And they're having a pillow fight. Don't tempt me. I could run these images through some AI filters. This is a PG-13 campaign, and I'm well aware of where the line is. Oh, we only get one? Shoot. I don't know what you're talking about, and I really wish I did. Dang, I really wish I knew what you were talking about. Gosh, I hope that appears in D&D chat in a couple days. And like no explanation, just pillow fight scene, and the five of us will laugh. So Tyrus, I'm sorry I didn't get your opinion because it sounds like you might be the deciding factor. Probably. Nope, that's a side story for another day. All right, so as mentioned, May's office isn't actually that far away. You're on the upper levels of Allers Hall, and May is just probably at the other end of the corridor you guys are on. Maybe up a couple stairs and stuff. You know, this is a pretty big building, but it's late evening, and conveniently, it is also late evening in the background that I found. Uh, when you knock, the door opens, and you do hear a voice that probably said to let it to come in, but the door opens independently of your knocking. Unlike Romhen, where you could see this door had probably been here longer than the building, probably time magic or something. This is just a fairly standard issue stone door that leads up to a truly massive laboratory. We're talking. This laboratory is bigger than my house. Like, as I see it, I'm actually kind of jealous. Uh, there are enormous wooden tables everywhere that are covered in bottles and research equipment. There's beakers and sensors that are all over the place. It is low lit with candles and torches, and on at least one entire wall are bookshelves filled with subject matter that honestly the inquisitives of you would love to dig into, and the rest of you guys are mortified of. Uh, Against one of those walls is a fairly large desk that has a particularly large cluster of bottles, and standing in front of them, holding a couple of books, is a woman. She's probably not no more than like 20, right? Like way younger than anybody else here, but is wearing guild finery that confirms this is definitely a counselor. And I'm just gonna move this tab. I don't know why Tyrus doesn't have a health bar, and I'm not gonna worry about that. Dang. You know what? We'll just remind me of that when the shooting starts. Uh, but May looks up from her two books. She was expecting somebody, but even even expecting somebody, the sight of the four of you is enough that she like first looks a little surprised and then kind of curious. She sets the two books down on that desk of hers and fairly assertively marches up to the group. Well, look at this. I wasn't expecting anybody so late at night. And now I've got so many guests. Well, I'm not even ready for one, but I'll do my best. But I'm afraid you've caught me at a disadvantage. I'm May, one of the Culinarian Guild counselors, and to whom am I speaking? Hmm. Those names don't sound. Oh, no. She points at the associate badge and says, I know who you are. You're the ones that Rare said to look out for, aren't you? Okay, that makes way more sense. Great. All right. Well, he said that you were going to come asking questions, but I didn't know what you were going to be talking about. And I am excited to hear. So, please pull up a chair. What can I do for you? Where's Andromeda? What? Uh, no, you guys know a little bit. I've told you or you've read it in a book somewhere. She's head of research. Mohallam, as lead administrator, is also head of finance. Yes. Considering you just talked to one that was millennia old? Question mark. Yeah, this one's barely old enough to vote. The gi- Oh, this is about Open Hands Hall. Okay, that makes sense. That explains why Rare would be looking into it. He loves that place. Man. Okay, well, yeah. If that's all you want to know, then sure, why not? Let's see. That night, I was spending time with the Guildmaster and the Herald Savi. We were having dinner in the guild hall. Uh, well, the three of us were eating, and Savi and I were talking about tenets of Savi's faith, uh, issues of servitude, and what that means to different people. Rare was not participating. He maybe leave this part out of your report, but I don't think he was properly wrapping his head around it. Anyway, we heard the explosion like everyone else, and the three of us rushed to the scene as quickly as we could get there. Uh, well, when we got there, we saw Chakel and heard that Gogre was already inside. We got there. I, I didn't see him, but I was only actually at the hall for a few seconds. The guildmaster, when he saw what was going on, he sent me to handle the crowds, which honestly is not like him at all. Normally, if there's a crowd, he wants to be front and center, but it seems like maybe this was even more important than that. So he handled the hall, and I handled keeping the crowd placated and pointing any culinarians or guild members that showed up where they could be helpful. Once the crowd was under control, I did help a little bit, but I kind of tried to stay far away, stay with the crowd, so it was mostly what magic I could conjure up at range. Does that answer your question? Sorry, I don't know what you guys are looking for. I so you know, unfortunately, I didn't. I didn't get close enough to it. I was mostly on crowd control. Um, there were a decent number of the Telemarian acolytes, but they were largely just drawn to sounds of explosions, like everyone else would be. She pauses for a second. Oh, that must have been what Ranmar was doing. Hmm. I didn't see them myself, but I heard there was a commotion going on. I'm sorry, I was probably 150, 200 meters away. I didn't see much of the excitement going on. Oh man, I picked up on that immediately. Oh, of course. Well, if you ever need anything else, I spend most of my time here. She points to her desk. Pretty much never leave the thing, and unless there are explosions. You know what? Whether or not there's anything odd or not, why don't you give me an investigation check? Dang. Dang. Uh, you know what? Since he rolled it, Tyrus, yeah, sure. You know what? Why don't you join me down in spoiler space for a second? It is driving me crazy that one of my screens is entirely dedicated to. Oh, they could probably hear me. The stream. That's fine. I don't care. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like, oh crap, all of the other players will hear me. And I was like, yeah, after the fact, who cares? And maybe not even then. Nobody's gonna watch this. So, I'm gonna give you this much that when she points to all of the junk on her desk, just kind of like offhand gesturing that, hey, I've got a lot of work I'm doing. Uh, Mostly it is boring, innocuous junk, and there are a couple vials of some really aggressively roiling red liquid. That like it kind of looks like uh, some sort of like corrupted healing potion, but that's boiling, even though it's not on heat. Sure. Not as far as you can tell. It maybe feels like it's familiar somehow, but oh, you have seen a lot of viscous goos in your day. So I'll join you back in game nights. Hey, whole family. Anyway, unfortunately, he didn't have his axe, so he's gonna be rolling a new character. Uh, oh yeah, yeah. You guys can make it outside the room pretty quickly. She certainly doesn't stop you or anything. Wow. Holden, base mostly, let's say, on Tyrus's only okay description. It's really hard to piece together anything that comes to mind. I will say, hey, it was already getting pretty close to nighttime. We're gonna say it's probably a bit too late to do much more with the night, unless anybody wants to do some nighttime skulking. Uh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I definitely remember the last time you skulked and you had to make friends. Sure, yeah. 8 hours. Probably like 9:30. Gosh, every day of my life. I was definitely gonna. Oh, this is the worst. This is the sort of thing that will drive me crazy. Is there was definitely a note that I wanted to make, and I forgot the note before I could make it. Dang. All right, well, then that's just not gonna happen. Whatever that note was, it's gone forever. Anyway, moving on. It sounds like the plan is we're gonna go take a nap and then wake up in the morning refreshed and excited to go investigate. Unless I'm wrong. Perfect. Uh, you you have lodging here. Theoretically, you also have lodging. Like you could find a room at Ranmar and Pelna's lab. Pelna has an entire lab that she's not using. So like that's also an option if you don't want to sleep here. Okay. If that sounds good for everybody, uh, then look, it's not hard to find a page, right? Even late at night, I'm not going to make you guys make checks or anything. Uh, and sure enough, yeah, there are definitely quarters available to you. They're not maybe as nice as some of the other places you've stayed. Heck, they're probably not as nice as some of the embassies. But, it's a bed. It's safe. There's culinary and guild guards around. That's pretty neat. Uh, could I get somebody to roll a d20 for me? I want this to be your guys' fault. Okay. Uh, it was worth a try. Don't worry about it. Oh, I hope that works. Oop, nailed it. So, yeah, don't worry about it. You are guided to your rooms. Everybody's got your own room, and it's got like snacks and a breakfast waiting for you in the morning. Uh, you are able to write a note to Ranmar and Pelna so that they don't worry about losing 4 more people. And we can move ourselves to morning. How exciting. Everybody get a long rest. You get all your HP back. And your spells. Me too. Uh, if you aren't, you are now. Okay, you're going to have to use your character sheet for that part. Uh-oh. Let's see. I open Tyrus' character sheet, and I do see... Yes. It does say butts. Uh, it didn't have anything in it, and so I decided to fill it with butts. And then I even slid that over onto the OBS screen for just a second so that anybody's super curious. Yeah, you know now. Anyway, I do believe 52 is your max. That sounds right, and maybe just update that to also say 52 there. Nail it. All right. Yeah. So now today is crazy. Like you guys got to bed at a decent hour, which means you're gonna wake up probably at a decent hour as well. Right? Sun's just starting to come up. Normally this is when you haven't even smelled anything but the coffee in the morning. No, not today. Today, this place is on fire, but unlike the other night in a good way. It is so busy that you get your full 8 hours of rest, but it's not all sleep because people are already moving and it is chaos. Right outside your room, there are people frantically going back and forth because today is the day. You had seen previously when you got to the hall that they were already working on getting everything set up, right? There were banners. There was literally banners saying "Welcome Telemar." Uh, Maybe some of them at some point looked like some kindergartners had done them, but listen, that culinarian worked hard on them too. Uh, Now, oh gosh, this is the day he arrives. Everything is going to be perfect. There are some administrators that are shouting, which certainly cuts your sleep a little short because tensions are a little high now too. uh, but faced with this morning, you've definitely got a decent number of hours before Telemar is scheduled to arrive because he is scheduled to arrive at noon. As usual, I'm going to ask, you guys got a few hours on you besides breakfast and watching the chaos, like you went to the mall on Christmas Eve, even though you got all your shopping done just to watch people. Uh, what are you in the mood for? Probably. All right. What a fun place to start. Uh, I don't know. Did it? This is really a case of you guys would have written the note if you guys wanted there to be a message saying, hey, maybe we have a suspicion. That's on you. Yeah, sure. I don't care. Hey, everyone. What's up? Gosh, genuinely very tempting. Unfortunately, she does not mysteriously appear. Uh, as we discussed with Tyrus, you may have accidentally cured her of all of that time travel nonsense, and well, I can't give you that one either. It definitely would have been obvious. Yeah, let's go with Tyrus would have noticed first. Okay. Well, so it sounds like first things first, we're going to go get re equipped. And you know what? That's important. So you make your way down to the basement and to your requisitions office. I have been trying desperately to make an impromptu requisitions office because I don't like not having these places. And it just didn't quite get there fast enough. So I'll move you guys in a minute. But in the meantime, this place is just as busy as everywhere else. You are genuinely having trouble getting through hallways. This is like you are at the airport, and everybody's flight is going to leave in like 30 minutes. So, same as before, actually. There's a decent line at the requisitions office. There's a decent amount of crowds, and it's it's not the easiest to navigate. Fortunately, unlike previous, uh, a couple people catch your eye, and maybe he has already established himself in this story as being kind of in charge around here, but the large Minotaur man, Geralt, uh, points to the lot of you guys through the crowd, and you can almost hear the people around you getting a little disappointed, like, oh, man, they just got here. Don't mind the fact that it's on fire. We're doing our best and repurposing some stuff that you guys have already seen. But I don't want you guys being in May's lab anymore. So bam. Welcome to the requisitions office. And I just tried to move the token on the screen where I can't move tokens. But this is actually not that far off from how the requisitions office feels, because there's this little desk in front where they actually do the business. And then behind it is just this cavernous, like, smithy and warehouse. It's not on fire like the picture is, but there are a lot of fires for like forges and stuff. So, it's actually kind of close. I'm not upset. Would you guys get off my back? So, uh, Geralt signals for you guys to come to the front of the line, and he retreats back into the warehouse. Maybe like about 20 seconds later, probably not too late after you would have gotten to the counter, he and Asha appear, and Asha is holding your axe. Tyrus, you've had this axe for a while, right? Like, describe this axe to us a little bit. Great. Mm-hmm. That's fair. Appearances are important. Well, let's start with there are no notches or dents or dings in this axe anymore. This this blade is so freaking sharp now. It looks like it was freshly forged. Uh, Most of the blade has been left intact as it is, except at the top of the handle, just above where the twin blades are. You see remnants of the beast as if this is where they were added. Just bones and scale and hide all wrapped into we're going to call it a figurehead at the very crest of the axe. The handle has been... You know what? I was going to say it's been worn down, but actually, as you get a handle on it, she hands it to you grip first, and she replaced it. Just full on, the entirety of everything but the blade probably is brand new. She actually watches you for a second to measure up how you measure up the axe. Like, her hands crossed and folded in front of her, waiting to give approval based on your approval. You know what? Yeah, the crowd parts a little bit. I'm not going to go so far as to say that you like have a reputation or anything, because that'd be ridiculous. But there is a man swinging an axe, and okay, just in case, Everybody gives you a little bit, and yeah, uh, it not only does it feel like brand new, a little heftier because the handle is sturdier now. But the grip, man, it feels she made this from scratch. And also, as the thing cuts through the air, you can feel the heat behind the blade. Like it's leaving a trail of flames behind it. Considering this was one of the first NPCs I ever introduced, it's impressive that this is the first time you've ever seen her smile. But she gives you ever so slight of a smile and a nod, and then walks back to her forge. Geralt watches and says, "Oh my gosh, that's the happiest I've seen her in months. Good for you, man." I had that written down. I do like just being referred to as the cosmos, but I'm going to open up your character sheet real fast, and I will make the change to your weapon as we go, because I can do that. Probably. Anyway, you do have your axe, and Geralt is here. I don't know if you guys have the materials or the requisitions points to do anything else. I think you were saving what you had left, but if there's anything else that you need, now would be a great time to ask. Oh, that's right. Oh, you know what? I'm going to admit that you've caught me with my pants down only metaphorically. I thought that that was what you would put into the axe. What would we put into the axe? That's right. Yep. All right. Well, then, yeah. Let's be real. Canonically, almost all of the monsters you've encountered are female. It's important. Uh, so, dang. You, you know what? You made me stop for just a second. Uh, so I'm going to politely step back just a moment and say that while you did definitely see sparks flying, they didn't quite equate to fire as you swung your axe. But otherwise, that's good because I was gonna. This makes this a little easier. Once he has confirmed that you are happy with your axe, uh, Geralt he reaches down from under the counter as if maybe he had gotten this one ready, and with the care of a man handing off his firstborn son, uh, gingerly presents you with your crossbow. He says, "I'll be honest, we had some work to do on this. Not because anything was wrong, like the axe, but just because not looking to cause any explosions down here. Not after the other night, anyway. Should find everything to be right as you left it. And oh gosh, I have two windows open. I got that notification twice. Uh, yeah, you should find this exactly the way you left it, and also, well, here." And he leans down and points to there's just a little tiny ruby, pretty close to where a safety would be on a firearm, and says, "All you got to do, press on that ruby, hold for just a second, And, well, fire away, if you catch my drift. But don't overdo it. I think that's going to be the best way to say it. It's it's magic like anything else, and we can only jam so many spells into one thing. So just go light on it. I'm going to say that you could probably find like some sort of armor stand with some leather armor or something nearby. Uh, you will be the second person in the last couple days to willy nilly fire a weapon off in this area, but you know, at least Geralt will be. Mm. Uh, uh, you know what? I'm not going to make things for this so much as I'm going to tell you this and then write it down in case we need to make character sheet adjustments later. But it's actually going to be pretty straightforward. Tyrus, your axe is now Vorpal. Are you familiar with that? I don't actually know if Vorpal does the same thing in 5th ed as it did in all of the other eds. But, oh, oh, it doesn't. Ew, gross. Vorpal sucks now. What the heck? Oh, never mind. Vorpal's really good. Okay, we're going to take that back a little bit. Uh, yes. So we're going to step back a little bit because it used to be, or it is currently, if you roll a 20 to hit, you decapitate them, which is pretty close to what I thought it was. But I'm going to say, Tyrus, now not only is your axe +1, but also we're going to up its crit modifier by 1. Not your crit roll, your crit modifier. So you're going to add your weapon damage again. Again. I do miss the old days version. Let's see. I could probably figure that out. What if I do, it'll probably work if I do this. And if it doesn't, then we'll figure it out on the fly. I think I got it right though. If you see, your damage numbers got changed to 1d12 plus strength and then crit another 1d12. Yes? All right. That's definitely going to work. There's no way we've screwed this up in a way that we can't fix later. Oh, you're just going to roll until you roll a crit, aren't you? Okay. Thank goodness. That's true. Holden, I trust that you know how to update your character sheet, which is good because you probably know better than I do. The addition that you got is that you now on fire can choose to add 2d4 fire damage. When you do, you have misfire 1. Yes? Excellent. Sad? Would like a reroll? Effectively, it's when you roll a number on a to hit roll that is equal to or less than your misfire chance, not only do you automatically miss, but also your weapon jams up and you need to spend an action to unjam it. Wow, I actually got that right. Dang, I'm the best. It's almost like I've been GMing this for 30 sessions. That's true. And I'm going to say also partially because I forgot, but that's okay. I think that covers everything. If there's anybody else that would like some sweet stuff that you technically paid for earlier, that doesn't sound familiar. Ooh, that's really great for playing werewolf. uh, Dang. Man, I don't know how you guys knew. The answer was always the traitor is the goose. All right, well, I don't think so. Probably not. You guys haven't met the goose yet. So what are you guys' plans? You definitely still have plenty of time to get a little bit done and find a good spot for the ceremony this afternoon. I'm gonna say you probably don't have to. He did give you a rough idea, but it's always an option if you want to check in with him. At this point, your biggest limitation is time, right? Like you have 3 days until the feast. Really, that's the big limiter. So as far as I'm concerned, you could just spend 3 days in Racklin's office shooting the breeze and sipping scotch. There were two people she was with. She was with Rare and Savi. I dare say it sounds like she's sus. Mm-hmm. Dang. Well, uh, Cheagle's office is on the first floor. By now, you guys have a pretty good idea of where all of them are, just because you've been walking around this building for the last couple days. Uh, he he has definitely the most bare bones, like he's a state employee office of anybody here. Like there's not a ton of meat or potions or infinite abyss lining his walls. He's just got walls. He's got a desk. He's got a chair. He's got an ink pot. That's pretty much it. Like there's nothing here, including him. There's no Cheekle here either. No, because again, this is a PG-13, and based on that, I'm going to have to say no, not this time. Dang. However, there is a note on his desk. There is a single piece of parchment that just says, I have this written down. Yes, it's written in blood and is scratched with like bone and ooh, that's pretty evil. No, it just says at the Faith and Market, Jekyll. And then the whole party was stunned that he was going shopping. Mm-hmm. Mulholland does have an office here on the first floor, deep in the bowels of Allers Hall. Uh, Meslier does not. You probably would have gotten this information from Racklin or just wandering around. Meslier doesn't really have a presence here. Instead, she has like 5 different restaurants throughout town and uses one of them as sort of her classroom. Uh, sorry, between the market and Mulholland's office is definitely way closer. You are in the hall, and she is too. Let's see. Based on that, so Mulholland's office, as mentioned, not actually that far away. It is not a problem to find her pretty quickly. You are walking. You are walking against the current of people because there are a lot of administrators going in and out of this area. Uh, by the time you get to where her office would be, you see that the last person coming out of the room is a fairly a shorter, older woman with fairly dark skin, fairly white hair, and uh, a look that has probably been serious for the last 3 or 4 years. Sorry, I'm going to take just a second if you guys give me one moment. All right, sorry about that. Uh, all of those notes are true, though. uh, so this woman looks at the lot of you, and the first things out of her mouth are, well, damn. Took you long enough, and you had to show up just when I was leaving. All right, come on in. Let's make it quick. The woman guides you into her office, and this place mostly looks like it has housed so much documentation that she probably does actually secretly run the entire guild from here. It is just wall to wall records, and I'm going to say books, but really we're talking ledgers. Like, Mulholland is not so secretly keeping this place going. She doesn't even sit down. As soon as the door closes, she leans back against her desk, resting her hands on it, and with a look on her face that's telling you to get down to it. She says, "You're here because the guildmaster sent you, huh? Well, let's get to it. I got a lot to get taken care of today. Not a lot of time to waste." Deal. Almost just started reading the wrong one. She looks you up and down. Says, "Soldier type. Respect that. All right. I was in records when the blast went off. Administrator Jen can confirm that. He and I were going over some things, trying to make sure everything was in order. When the blast hit, well, first thing I was doing was trying to make my way to the dining hall to report to the guildmaster. Needed to make sure that he knew what was going on, as much as he usually does. Anyway, I caught up with the guildmaster as he was leaving the building and checked with him briefly. But afterwards, my next procedure is to go up to ring the alarm bells, alert the rest of the guild. I didn't make it halfway before the bell started ringing ahead of time. Minor breach of protocol, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Someone was taking the initiative. It was Jenin, turns out. He had run ahead. I commend him for it. Not enough to thank him, though. Still a breach of protocol. Along the way, any other culinarians I saw, I told them to head towards the explosion. Probably sent two or three. Three, probably. Didn't see too many. It seems like most of them were pretty motivated by the blast. Didn't encounter anybody else on the way, though. No guildmaster. No, well, except for that when I mentioned it before. But no, it wasn't the guildmaster. It wasn't any of the counselors. Uh, let's see. Administrators. Sable, Lutra, Triss. That sounds right. I think any of those three would be able to confirm that I'd sent them towards the explosion. Sure didn't. Somebody's got to keep this place afloat. Somebody's got to keep the lights on. You probably wouldn't, but I'm gonna say, why don't you give me some sort of say, investigation, something like that? That's not bad. Uh, let's go with realistically. It probably would actually make sense to have someone in leadership stay behind. Uh, Not 100% sure why it would be Mulholland, but once again, I tried to click on the stream version. Uh, Coward is a strong word, but I understand why you'd say it. No, I was. Alright, fine. No sense in hiding anything from anybody. We're all on the same team, right? That's right. I'm on the guild's team. And I hope you are too. Otherwise, answering these questions is a little bit of an issue. No, I was doing some investigations of my own. Nothing related to Open Hands Hall. because that had just happened, but I have my own suspicions about a few things that are going on around here. Trying to figure out what happened to Culinary and Razmi. Culinarians just don't wake up dead, let alone twice. That's true, but this was brutal. Blood everywhere. This wasn't him waking up from a peaceful night's sleep, only he didn't wake up. This was an attack. Someone did this. No, I didn't. I wish I did, but I don't have a good lead on that. Sorry, say again? Please? I have given the insight button back to you guys. Feel free to roll insight whenever you feel like it. Sure. Nailed it. Mm-hmm. Uh, Fortunately, this is not a difficult check. She is not telling you everything, but she seems like she is doing that more out of an abundance of caution. Like there's not a lot that tells you that she is trying to hide anything for anything nefarious. Uh, to your question, Holden, she she stares like right into you as if maybe she's making an insight roll of her own. In fact, I'm going to make that roll because you guys can't stop me. Well, that's a little awkward. No, I did not. No, but when I rolled, it appeared on the stream side, and I'm not convinced that you guys can't see it, but that's okay. Okay, that's fine. What I'm learning is I think when I type /GM roll, what it's actually doing is just whispering the results to me. And since I have a chat open as a player, it doesn't know that I'm not a GM over there, so it showed me the results anyway. But that's fine. Sorry, that was just weird. I wasn't expecting that. Uh, she she stares at you for a good like 3 or 4 seconds. Says, "Fine, fine. I found the Herald, Savi. Found her, and I followed her to her chambers. She was largely on the way to the alarm bells anyway, and it was strange that she was by herself. No handmaiden and maidens, no retinue, no Counselor May kissing her boots. I tried to follow her and see if she was up to anything, but she bolted straight to her rooms, to her personal chambers, and I wasn't sneaking into there. So, after I followed her for a little bit and reached that roadblock, I went to the alarm bells, and that's when I found Jenin. That is after the explosion. The timeline is explosion, check in with the guildmaster, go find the alarm bells. Ooh, person to follow. Based on what happened to Nazma, I don't imagine anybody in this building stands to gain much from it. Heck, I don't even know where we'd evacuate to if he decided to level this place. Hmm. Okay, well, let's see. Let's start with the whole deities thing. Look, I know they're there. I know that they're doing their own thing. As long as they leave us alone, I don't give them the time of day. That temple has 1,000 gods, and I don't patron any of them. That being said, probably another one of them, right? If Telemar falls, as a person, or a deity person, I don't imagine that his enemies would be too upset, but given all the stories that we've been hearing over the last few weeks, most of those stories say that he doesn't leave enemies behind. So it'd probably be another deity, right? Some other god that stands to gain from him falling. Maybe he drops from the upper pantheon and some other god takes their place. You know? I'm going to be honest. I wish I could help you on that, but you're going to have to talk to somebody in Satir on that. However, that does that does bring up some good points. I'm not going to say that we can buff up security too much. We've already got every hunter and culinarian on hand. But just in case. Just in case there's something wrong. Just kill who? What, Razmi? Boy, if you think that I'm the one that killed him, oh man, your investigation's gonna go worse than mine. Oh man, 22. I'm not even gonna bother hiding it. Mira, uh, Mulholland, Mulholland is grinning like this is the first thing that's made her laugh all week. But yeah, what he said, like she knows better than to be insulted by it. She just thinks it's funny. She is, uh, she utterly does not believe that it could be her, and she knows she did not kill him. If Oh yeah, GM real is not a command. Uh, she actually she sizes you up one last time and then gives you a salute of the Satiri Guard. When you do, she nods and says, I'm going to start working on that escape plan, just in case we need to get people out of here. I'll be here if you need me. I need to make one quick addition, and then I have another thing to give you. Sure. Oh. Yeah, the best part is, though, the first thing that happened when Sav got on Discord, he was the first one, and he just said, hi. Oh, wait, I need to go answer a phone call. So I was like, yeah, sure, he's just got more phone calls to take, whatever. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, sure. We can do that. That is as easy as you finding a nice, quiet chamber, which is actually, now that I say that, a lot harder than it sounds, but manageable. Like there, you find like a bathroom or something. Not the most impressive place to commune, but whatever. Why don't we head down to spoiler space real fast? Okay. Oh, I just saw that never split the party thing. That's great. Uh, so this is. I'm gonna say you found a room that is not a toilet, because that's rough. Uh, to just sit down and pray for a little bit. Uh, let's see. Could I just get you to roll a d20 for me? Man, Sav. It's not today. Okay. Uh, Krace does not appear before you, but you can at least sense that as a paladin, your deity is with you enough. Is there something that you are trying to get across? Hmm. Okay. Uh, fortunately, you have been previously blessed by Krace, and so while maybe nobody else in the party would be able to do this, there are 1,000 gods in that temple, and maybe you can check one of them off the suspect list. So generously two, because Telemar probably didn't do it to himself. 998 to go. Uh, let's see. What's your spells look like? Yeah, paladin spells are weird like that. Okay, and I'm just going to take over for a second and look at your character sheet real fast. Don't mind me. Uh, okay, I'm going to give you this much information. I'm going to let's make a deal. I like making deals with people. I'm willing to give you some sense of what he is thinking in exchange for uh, in exchange for 2 of your divine sense charges. Perfect. Because at this point, it's like you reaching out and trying to really get a read on Krace himself, as opposed to something around you. Uh, so we'll say like you are holding that seed he gave you, right? Something that directly connects you to him. Uh, you probably sit there for a good 5 minutes holding that seed, which is by itself comforting. It's practically a holy symbol. Uh, but when you finish, after about 5 minutes, you look up, having not really gotten a reaction, until you just feel. You don't see it, you don't hear anything. You just feel a hand on your shoulder, pretty similar to the feeling that you had when you spoke with the god yourself. It gives you a warm, gentle sensation, like of somebody comforting you in a time of need. And I will go so far as to interpret that a little bit for you, that you can tell whatever other god might have done this, Krace is not to blame. I can understand why that's important, and I hope you can understand I got to get something if I'm going to give information out like that. All right, let's head back to game nights. All right, welcome back. Uh, that was a weird thing. You guys just like Rayun politely excused himself and then walked into an empty room and was gone for like 10 minutes. Uh, when he emerges 10 minutes later, at least that's very possible. I mean, honestly, if you guys want to ditch him, that would be hilarious. Uh, I'm going to guess that that's not the case, but feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. Uh, what's the code word? Uh, Rayun has a look of satisfaction on him. Like, all right, he is at peace physically, emotionally, spiritually, digestively, right? Blood pressure's down and everything. Oh my gosh. Good job. Okay. I'm gonna say we got time for maybe one more thing. We're talking like about 9, 10 o'clock. Uh, so if there's anything else you want to do before Telemar's arrival, let me know. Nope. Jenin. Sounds good. Uh, Sure. Uh, could I get investigation checks from a couple people that would maybe want to look for one administrator in this Christmas Eve chaos? Yep. Oh man. You know, I'm not gonna say that I expected this, but this is kind of a reflection of some of the party's aptitudes. Uh, okay, well, look, there are. I'm not joking. These halls are crowded. I don't know how we managed to find Rayu in a place to rest, but I'm gonna say maybe you got like a rough description as part of the conversation with Mulholland, because otherwise this would be a very difficult thing. Or like you stop and ask someone about him, and it takes like 10, 15 minutes, but eventually you just see a gentleman, human, kind of like lightly dark skin and a nice, respectable, short haircut, who is carrying an enormous bundle of papers. And Holden, you're just like, that's him. That's my guy. He is walking towards you guys down a hallway, not registering you at all. Yes. Okay. Hey, nice and easy. You can absolutely stop him. Uh, I'm going to ask, are you going to be gentle or aggressive? You trip him and you point your crossbow at his face. I just hit the red button. Uh, Sounds good. It's enough that, let's say maybe you just like step in front of him and like put your hand up in front of his chest to stop him. Uh, he he takes a second, like you have snapped him out of a, a reverie, and hey, sorry, associates, I have to. The lead administrator is looking for these. I have to get going. Uh, okay, okay, just make it fast, I guess. Yeah, sure. I was going over some documents, not these other documents, with the lead administrator. We're trying to track down a few requisitions credits that are missing, and ooh, we heard the explosion. She ran off towards the dining hall to try and find the guildmaster. And oh, is this because I listen? I know it's against the listen. Mulholland has already freaking hung me out to dry, but it seemed like the right thing to do. I went up to the bells. I could see the fire from there. I just rang the bells. All right, like I got as many guild people as I could. I just ran for those bells to try and get people to that fire as fast as possible. I didn't stop ringing them for a good 45 minutes, something like that. Yeah, and Mulholland's already threatened to kick me out if I do something like that again. Listen, I get it, right? Fine. You want to go one step further? Because I know this is what Mulholland is really saying. Yeah, I was a big freaking coward. I didn't go to the fire myself. That's what I was supposed to do. That's apparently what she expected me to do, even though she never said a word to me until the next morning. Fine, I get it. I was supposed to go over there and throw myself into a big funeral pyre. I just wanted to sit there and ring some bells so that I'd see the morning. All right? Well, Mulholland came up after 1520, saw me, and apparently decided she was going to yell at me in the morning. After I was finished, I went back to my chambers, and I didn't. I tried to fall asleep. I didn't. So I just laid there for most of the night. It's This has kind of been my project for the last couple days now, a week maybe. Mulholland's noticed a couple of well, things aren't adding up, right? There's extra credits that are being sent out, and we don't really know why. They stopped, but they were going on for a few weeks back some time ago. We don't know who sent them out. We don't know where they went, but they were already cashed out, so they're gone. Somebody already got the value for them. We're just trying to figure out who. I caught the discrepancy a couple of weeks ago, a little more. You give me 3 of those, I could buy a house in Noka Bay and never look back. Uh, Go ahead and give me some insight checks, everyone. Kind of curious about this. Wow. Uh, he suddenly looks really nervous. Like he's looking around to the crowd, like seeing who's around him before he says, "Okay, listen. I heard rumor you guys were doing some investigations for Rare. You got to be the right associates. There's only so many of you. Don't spread this around, right? But there aren't that many people that can access requisitions credits like this. Most of the time, they got to go through appropriate channels. I think it might be someone on the council." Not really. The only people that we know that can do it, there are only 9, right? There's the lead administrator, the first hunter, the guild master, and then the council. Well, I don't know if you've ever met the first hunter, but that guy, I don't even think he knows what money is. I know it's May. Uh, I guess it could be May. It could be probably any. It would be the guild master, probably. But of the council, uh, yeah. I mean, she's smart. She's ambitious. She uses a lot of guild resources for her research. Uh, they're pretty friendly. I've seen them dining together a decent amount. The initial plan was that everybody on the council was going to split shifts with the Herald to give everybody a good face, but after a few days with Chikol and Gogra, turns out the Herald wasn't a big fan, so it's mostly her and May. Jeez. The heck, you guys. First off, if I had all these answers, trust me, I wouldn't be having to talk to you guys. I'd just go tell Mulholland and I get those 3 requisitions credits you were promising. Uh, but as far as Razmi goes, dude, I have no idea who killed Razmi. That's The brutality of that, I don't know if you guys have like seen any of the sketches, but that okay, sorry. I apologize in advance, but uh that man looks like someone wrapped a fish hook around his spine and then pulled. Honestly, I hope not, but he had a look of shock on his face based on the sketches, so I hate to say it, but very possible, yeah. What? What are you talking about? I'm gonna have to review this VOD so that I can write all that down and make up a new investigation transcript. And that's fine. He does not wait for permission. He hears you say that and just books it, as before, in the direction of Mulholland's office. That is an option. I'm gonna say you got a little bit of time. If you wanted to try and squeeze that in, you might be able to. We're talking you might not get a good spot in at the ceremony, but it's your call. I'm not going to tell you guys what you can or can't do within reason. Yeah, glitch, give it a shot. It, Okay. I am never going to say no to a good party split. A bad party split? Maybe. Uh, who's going where? Beautiful. All right. Pretty sure I saw that in Encanto. Let's see. Uh, okay. I'm going to see if I can use this sweet feature in Roll20 right after a 5 minute break. Yeah, didn't see that coming. I'll see you in a few minutes, guys. Whew. Time that just in time. I'm back. You're back. I don't know where the Megbrid household is, and I also don't know where Sav is. Sweet. Why don't we're gonna do the two of you guys first anyway? So why don't you guys head to spoiler space, and I'm gonna quickly DM Meg saying, "Don't be surprised when no one's here." All right. I'm still. No, I didn't hear anything. I literally just DM'd Meg. Uh, okay. So I can't stop looking at the Backstreet Boy. NSYNC? That's NSYNC. Yeah. Uh, so you guys are the first two to arrive at Aller Square. Aller Square is the culmination of all of the busyness that you've been encountering for the last day or so. It is packed. There's so many people here. Uh, you immediately see a few different groups that are worth talking about. In order of importance, I'm going to go from least to most important. At the southwest side, no, southeast side, you see Jabex Hadalon and Night of Dreams, the two individuals that Mira was trying to stalk and then became friends with because she got caught. They are amongst a large group of Telemarian acolytes and culinarians, but you see them and like they even make eye contact of like, yo, dude, over here, right? Uh, Over to the southwest, you see amongst a different section of the large crowd, uh, Ranmar and Pelna. And they are all in a semicircle around the southern half of the square. The third group worth mentioning is the group that is in the center of the square, where all of the counselors that are accounted for, so everybody but Harpin, who's not here, uh, they are all in attendance, along with the Guildmaster, the Herald, uh, a personal retinue of the Herald. And I just realized I never actually sent you guys to the map like I had intended. So let's see if I can do that. Can I make this work? Rayun, are you looking at a map? Tyrus, are you looking at a map? Heck yeah. Uh, they're amongst the guard, like the elite of the Telemarian faith, uh, is Andromeda. She is standing very properly with her hands folded in front of her. She is looking down with her eyes closed, and uh, there is no mistaking it. You can see she is bound by a collar. Could be. That might have been a problem. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess, yeah. You do have tokens on the bottom. Okay. And yep, the other two just aren't here yet. I'm gonna give you a couple minutes of in character time before they show up. So yeah, you see them. They, as mentioned, they are had already spotted you, and there aren't really seats. It's kind of just a spot in the crowd, but they have a pretty decent spot in the crowd. Yep. Uh, they were the ones that Mira spotted and tried to tail, and then when they spotted her, th- everybody just like had a meal instead, and you quizzed them, and they were like, "We are definitely Telemar acolytes." Like they answered all the questions, right? Everything. Mm-hmm. Uh, Night in Dreams, in particular, looks like he is going to explode from excitement. Uh, his ears drop a little bit when you say the word slave, but he's you, full honesty, I can't say for certain. She's a face I've never seen before, although I've never seen any of that retinue. They are part of, well, they are Savvy's official guard. They, no, no. Savi travels with Telemar. They travel from plane to plane. We never see, frankly, any of his vanguard. But, but we will today. Well, at the very least, we'll see him. Oh, oh no, no. I've never witnessed him in my life. Jabix interjects a little bit. He seems a little more calm. He says, "It is quite rare for someone to directly encounter Telemar or one of his vanguard unless you are being called to surface. And if you're called to service, you answer that call, and then you're not around to be spotted anymore." You know what? I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna have you make a stealth check, and also, what kind of armor are you wearing? You're wearing plate? Okay, yeah. Yep. Let's see what happens. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a skill in a different setting that I really liked called unobtrusive, which is exactly the sort of thing. Yeah. Just like, yeah, I'm not trying to hide in the shadows. I just kind of want to get somewhere without anybody making a big deal about it. Uh, you know what? I'm going to say go ahead and make it without disadvantage because you're not trying to hide so much as you're just trying to be unobtrusive. And we take the first one. Yeah, so you know what? The last group there is like this group here are culinarians. If they're not green, they're culinarians. And so uh, a couple of those culinarians look at you with confusion of like, well, hey, you're not supposed to be here. But when they see that associate badge and combined with you just like, hey, dude, I'm here on business. You're giving the pizza guy approach. Like, dude, I just got to drop these pizzas off. I've literally gotten into concerts that way. Yeah, exactly. I'm just doing a safety check real fast. We're doing sound check and stuff. Uh, it's enough that they're like, okay, just don't mess stuff up, whatever. And yeah, you can get into position. Probably not for long. Like, you won't be able to watch the ceremony from here, but mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Uh, something like a pss, pss, pss. Like, great. I did that. It got my cat's attention. I forgot that I had cats in the house. Uh, oh dear. uh, it takes a couple tries. We'll say that maybe you have to be a little louder than you like. It is a decent sized crowd. There are 20 something tokens here. There are hundreds of people. Uh, the you do get a reaction. It takes a couple, but when you do, you see her very slowly and very somberly raise her head up and then just barely glance off to the side to see you. Uh, I'm not going to drag you into a separate channel from just Sav. Uh, Sav, ignore this. But you don't need to make. You know what? Give me an insight check. You can't fail this. I just want to see how hard you succeed it. Good enough. Uh, for just a brief second, her face flashes with a really cruel mix of, like, we'll say neediness and despair. And after just a second of that, way quicker than she turned to face you, she turns her head back and puts her head back down. Okay, sounds good. Uh, it is relevant for storytelling purposes. Do you stand with one of those two groups? All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. He's not making himself well known, but Molo is just hanging out on a rooftop nearby. This is this is role playing. If you want it, you can absolutely get there. There's no major time constraints right now. Nah, nah. There's like a stack of crates nearby, off screen. Like, sounds good. You may be surprised. You get up to the rooftop. He looks at you a bit oddly at first, and then just shrugs and says, That's literally it. He says, Mm-hmm. Yeah. You two have hunted together. He's okay. Uh, Rain, we're going to come back to you because I think around the time that you get to there, because of the detour, it's probably when we're going to see the other two. So I am going to. You know what? Why don't you guys come back and you guys just aren't going to be present, but there's nothing you won't be able to listen in on. Hey, everyone. Good news. We solved the mystery. Turns out it was Ranmar all along. I know, right? Yep. Dang. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some. Yeah. We did actually make some real progress though, for just being a weird side thing. Like things happened. I'm pretty pleased with that. So, for the rest of the party, uh, you are. I'm just gonna actually leave the everybody that's not somewhere else in Mulholland's office because effectively that's where you go. Not to her office specifically, but to another office nearby where they do record keeping. Uh, I'm even gonna say that you run back into Jenin, who at this point is like mildly irritated to see you. Uh, but he's, yeah, hey, what's up? Any more questions? Like, we got the ceremony coming up. We gotta get moving soon. I mean, I got him somewhere around here. Just yeah, give me a sec. And he doesn't even necessarily wait for permission. He just dives in and starts flipping through documents. Uh, it takes, a minute or two. There's a lot of documents in these offices. But when he comes back, he's, oh, yeah, yeah, here we go. He hands you the fantasy equivalent of a file folder that's just got a few sketches in it. Uh, True to form, it does look like it kind of looks like he is. It kind of looks like he exploded. Like, kind of imagine somebody force fed him a firecracker. Uh, yes, it does. Don't You're not getting off that easy. Uh, Jenin, like, content that you guys have what you're looking for, leaves. Like, the second he hands you that, he doesn't want to look at it again. And within 15 seconds of that door closing, you hear a familiar voice go, "Some of my finer work, don't you think, Songbird?" Well, that's a shame. I telegraphed that as best I could, but that's all right. We'll get used to sharing secrets. You could turn around if you like, but standing right behind you is the unmasked and rather smug-looking Mortavio. Oh no, he is in the flesh. Oh, I've been here for a couple of days. I know that you heard when I got free. I felt it. It's nice to feel that connection again. And I was probably here about 15 minutes after the fact. Been trying to keep a low profile. I hear there's people looking for me. Oh, I was really hoping you would have figured that out by now. Well, it's the same as where I left you. There are 9 suspects. What have we got? The 6 counselors, the guildmaster, the lead administrator, and the first hunter. Surely you've... Oh, narrow for me. What have you got, my dear? Oh, and it's so lovely to see you, Holland, too. Forgive me, but she and I have a bit of a thing going on. Once again, not my tastes. So, what have you got for me, my dear? Oh, Lord, no, I have not met with her. Are you out of your mind? Dear, no. In my home. Goodness, it barely left the house except to resupply a bit. No, I'm keeping it a low profile, at least for the next couple days. This Telemar thing, I'm not going to say it puts me on edge, but it is raising a few more guards' eyebrows, and especially with Razmi's corpse, which I know is what you're looking at. He points to your drawing. There's a bit more scrutiny to random tieflings showing up. I have to be a bit careful is all. Mm. Well, that would make sense. I practically left her diary open when I found them. I'm surprised it took this long. Well, that is lovely. As long as they don't put 2 and 2 together, I should be fine. At least until we solve this mystery and I can melt away to some other safe place. Maybe I'll go to Dold. It is. That is a wonderful question. You are paying attention. Oh, I love that. Yes. No, no one has heard anything the wiser of your dear Primrose, and hopefully this all comes to a head soon enough that whoever put that contract out will cease to be, and I can get back to work with some other targets. Right, right. Of course. You only need to think pleasant thoughts of me, and I'm sure I'll run into you somewhere. Oh, pedestrian, but worth keeping in mind. Very well, I will continue to keep myself confined, which of course is where I am intended to be anyway, right? And he holds his wrists together like they are bound as a prisoner. I'll keep that in mind. So I haven't because my current contract is still outstanding. It is getting a bit vexing, but I have plenty in savings to keep me busy. Well, I appreciate you thinking about me. I will find myself out. But I do hope you visit me soon. I would love to see both of you again. Very soon. And he just starts melting. He uh this may be a bit scripted of an event, but yes, also you do just have that connection with him. Uh you watch as he just dissolves into a pool of blood. And then there's just a small puddle of blood there. Yeah, blood magic is not clean. But yeah, yeah, you can sop that up with a rag or something. But and then make your way to the festival. This is definitely going to work. Yeah, hey, so far he has been only cooperative and helpful. All right, let's see if I can do this right. Definitely on the first try. I want everyone to go here. Yes. Pretty sure that worked. For those of you who are just getting here, the festival ground here in Aller Square is busy. There are easily, I'm gonna say, easily 900 people in this square. The center of the square is pretty predominantly taken up by a large dais that looks definitely like a fountain in this picture, but it's not because I didn't draw it. And there are two main groups. The majority of the people, which comprise most of the rank and file Telemarian acolytes and most of the Culinarians Guild personnel, are in a semicircle on the south side, giving about a 50-foot berth from the dais. To the southeast, you can see your old friends Knight of Dreams and Jabix Hadalon, who are pretty close to the front of the crowd and have a very good view of the goings on. Briefly, Knight of Dreams is practically vibrating with excitement. You can see it from here. And Jabix, while much more stoic about it, is definitely beaming with excitement as well. On the southwest side, you can see mixed in with all of the Culinarians and the Telemar acolytes, Pelna and Ranmar. And Rayun's there. And in the center, actually, very briefly, far off on a rooftop to the northwest, You see Tyrus and the first hunter just hanging out on a roof. Yeah. Uh, in the center of the square, you see two distinct groups. The first half is the guild counselors and some guy that you definitely have seen before, but is so unbelievably story and lore wise unimportant that he's only there just to be there. Uh, and the mayor, yeah. I wasn't even sure if you'd remember he was the mayor or not. Uh, and then on the other side is a more Telemarian acolytes, but these are not acolytes. They look like honor guard. They are wearing roughly the same colors, but they are armed as guards should be. And I think I might have heard Meg yelling about it, but uh, yeah, they're Akko heavies. I like that. Uh, Along with those five Akko heavies, we're going with that. Are is Andromeda. Uh, when you see her, she is wearing a dress of the same colors as the rest of the acolytes, but she is standing in a very reserved, somber pose. Her hands are crossed in front of her, and her head is down with her eyes closed. And it's hard to mistake that she is wearing around her neck a collar. Uh, you guys are coming in from the south because that's how things work. Is even though you were in the hall, which would be in the north, some person was like, "Nah, the front dude's closed. Doors closed. You got to walk around." So I've been to enough conventions that are like, "Yeah, the front door's right there. You have to walk like 10 blocks that way first." That's how BlizzCon was. So given that the two of you plus Glitch are here on the southern end, uh, you guys do not have long before the ceremony starts. Uh, what? Where would you like to go? And I'll say like where you position yourself here might be relevant for story purposes. That's probably possible. Mm-hmm. The joke here is that that's exactly what Tyrus did. Yeah. No, it's fine. So, for the sake of storytelling, I'm going to move a few tokens around and say that you are probably not going to get too far past here. This last group of culinarians, they're also kind of just like playing point guard, trying to keep the crowd in an area. So I will make a uh, I'll make you a deal, and why don't I lump together the group of you here? Oh, good, you can see Glitch, and Jabix and Night and Dreams will push forward to join you. Fair? Uh, they are the two of them are definitely showing different ways to express how excited they are. Uh, but Jabix, we saw the others. This is it. This is it. We're finally going to see it. We might get to meet our Lord. Jabix, at this point, has been through this once before and just like puts his hand on Knight of Dreams' chest to calm him and push him aside, and says, "Forgive him. He's excitable and excited. But this is it. I hope that you are ready for it." Rayun, very briefly, Pelna and Ranmar, at the point that you get up to them, uh, they both wave you in, and I'm going to say, by the time you get to them, things are starting up, so you don't really have time to talk. Mm-hmm. Hey, they're both very short. It's very easy to get a hold of their shoulders. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? We're going to do just a second of talk because Pelna looks at you and you see her, right? I'm glad she's still alive. But she does not look like herself. We'll have to work on that. And the everything stops. Like the crowd stops murmuring. The place actually gets really quiet for there being this many people as Savi and Rare kind of like give one more nod to each other, and the guildmaster steps forward at first and gives a pretty large clearing of his throat, which gets most of the culinarians' attentions. And at that point, he steps back to the rest of the council and looks to Savi and gives her one more nod. Savi is dressed in her absolute best finery, just adorned in green and gold, as most of the Telmarians are. And once the crowd is silent, she looks to everybody assembled and begins her sermon. She says, "To all of you faithful assembled, our Lord is mighty, but humbled by your devotion. Now having laid low the gloom of Zashal, our Lord of swords and souls comes to rest here and be rejuvenated in your radiance. For Telemar does not fight alone. His legions span the plains, answering the calls of heroes and leaders. Let him now see your shining faces, feel the radiance of your conviction, that he may know the love you share for him. Let him hear the roar of your heart's passions. Join me, that he may hear our call and come to rest on these shores." Savi throws her head back and lets out a deep operatic melody. The honor guard behind her join her in the chorus for several seconds, laying the foundation of her prayer. And while they continue to sing, Savi begins to lead the crowd in a call and response chant. She saying one line, and the entire crowd of Telemarians answering. I am a soldier marching into battle. One more flag in the ground. I am a warrior, and this is my creed. One more flag in the ground. I will not stumble on this hollowed walkway. One more flag in the ground. Your hand on my shoulder means I'm coming home. And she doesn't wait for the final response, but joins it, shouting out, one more flag in the ground. As she reaches its apex, there it is, Savi reaches her hands above her head, and materializing in her hands is a brilliant banner. She slams the banner's pole into the cobblestone, and even though it doesn't pierce the ground, the pole stands perfectly upright. From the pole, a golden banner shines, begins to swirl with angelic light, twisting in a celestial breeze that you can't feel as it shapes itself into a circle, into a portal. From the other side, you get just the smallest glimpse of a battlefield spanning further than your eyes can see and your mind can comprehend. But walking towards the portal is a figure of immense stature. It seems impossible that this figure could fit, except that it appears to be condensing in size as it approaches. By the time it reaches the portal, it's practically squeezing through, stretching the portal's limits. And as it begins to enter, you get the briefest glimpse of the man walking through. A sturdy figure, nearly as round as tall, the spherical black furred head and sharp snout ending in a bald pink nose. Clad in brilliant bronze and carrying on his back a broadsword as wide as your shoulders, and a knight's shield, both completely covered in intricate runes so fine they look like texturing on the metal. He forces himself to duck down in order to make his way through the top of the portal, finally ending up at a respectable height of just over 4 feet. Beaming at the side of the crowd, there's no doubt this is the god of glorious victory, Telemar. He stands weary but jovial and begins to beam at the crowd, seeing all those assembled. For just one moment it's silent before he waves one of his heavy webbed claws at the crowd and lets out a cheery but exhausted "Hello!" The crowd is silent for a moment. A deity has spoken to them. Then all at once the crowd erupts in celebration, jubilation, even the culinarians joining in. Mira, Holden, you can see Night in Dreams is jumping with joy, literally leaping into the air, screaming his devotion. And Jabix is not able to hide the fact that tears are running down his eyes. It's very possible their entire lives have built up to this one moment. They are finally witnessing the person that they have devoted their entire existence to. Rayun, your culinarians are cheering heartily, but are maybe not quite so moved. Tyrus Molo does not react, as you might expect. The first hunter gives you a grunt of agreement. The portal closes behind Telemar, and the god makes his way over to where Savi is waiting for him. She prostrates herself but he barely notices, lifting her back up to her feet and giving her a kiss on the back of her hand. You guys can see, but you cannot hear over this crowd anything that's being said. You could roll consecutive natural 20s. You could roll with advantage, and both of those dice are 20. You would not be able to hear what they are saying. But you definitely see Telemar go from talking to Savi briefly to respectful introductions to the guildmaster, and in turn each of the counselors nodding in agreement. The mayor gets no such acknowledgement. And then Savi, Telemar, and Rare retreat to the north, along with the Honor Guard and Andromeda, back into Aller Hall. They are not dispersing. It is a party. Mostly the Telemarians. The acolytes are beside themselves. And the descriptions from Night and Dreams and Jabix are they have not changed very much. They are still celebrating in roughly the same way. Jabix does eventually try to calm down Night of Dreams a little bit. And like Jabix embraces him a little bit before he turns to the two of you, and he actually hesitates for a moment. I think that was everything I could have asked for. Sorry. Um, sorry. There's a lot to take in. Um, for most of the acolytes, including the two of us, we plan on staying through the feast. We won't be invited into the feast hall with Telemar unless we snuck in or became honor guard or something. But actually, now I wish I could. But we will join in the festivities outside. It sounds like the God's feast will be a festival for the whole city. So we'll stay for that. Though the honor guard, they are, well, we don't know who they are. Um, Never met any of them before. They are part of his loyal vanguard, uh, part of the army that travels from plane to plane on his crusades. As a general rule, those that share the faith don't interact with the army unless we're called to serve. And then we don't really come back. We swear our lives to service. So to even see the honor guard would probably have been a lifetime's blessing, but to see Telemar himself in the flesh, that's I will tell our children about that. Oh no. There. I'm going to borrow a couple of these tokens, but there are culinarians that are blocking this door. Uh, if you were to ask around from within the crowd, it sounds like the hall is effectively off limits for the day until Telemar and his retinue are fully secured. Uh, the honor guard went in with him, and the regular acolytes are definitely not allowed in. Like that hall is going to be just short of the 8 people that 2, 3, 9 people that went in, and the counselors who are currently staying out, like kind of doing crowd management. Oh gosh, I thought you were going to say it might be for the best. Like I was. Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't know why it's different when I'm the one recording it, but there's been like 3 or 4 times that I've been like, no, I can't make that joke. I'm being recorded. Every other time when you guys are recording, I don't care. I'll say whatever I want. But this time, nuh. So, you could definitely excuse yourself from Night of Dreams or bring the two of them along. I'm good either way. Are you going to meet up with Ranmar and Pelna then? Okay. Uh, they mildly, like, they're kind of in their own thing right now, so they don't give you too much of a fuss when you leave. Don't don't judge them. Uh, he did say that. Uh, I will go ahead and swoop you guys over to there. And presumably at some point you would also give Tyrus the secret signal. Tyrus, would you like to join them as well? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seems like she's taken. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh, you can definitely like get everybody into a scrum enough to have a quick conversation. So, uh, Pelna is actually fairly emotionally impacted by what she saw. Ranmar, a little less. In fact, Ranmar might even share a couple people's jests, and when everybody gets back together, he's the first to say, I did expect him to be taller than me, at least. Hello! I've been practicing that for a month. He, uh, Ranmar looks around and says, we might as well go. We're not going to get much more out of this place. Uh, so why don't I quickly just change scenes to the lab. Uh, yeah, barely by the time the door closes, Pelnus is, okay, we need to put a plan together then. Um, are we gonna kill a god, or are we just gonna make him really mad? Well, now hold on, God Killer. You're gonna have to earn that title, and I don't think you want to do it. You saw how big that sword was. Listen, I hate to say it, but we could probably use a bit more information. At least we know where she is, so we know where to look. Goodness only knows how we're going to get that information, though. It's been like a month or so, yeah. Okay. Uh, we will get to that. You know what? That might actually be a good thing to do, like, sometime before the next session. We can just do a quick side thing. I want to close up here with, like, you leave and Ranmar goes, well, that's great, but what are the rest of us going to do? Have you found anything that might be useful for us? And he's asking the rest of the group. You're not here. Oh, well, that's something. Does it? I don't. I don't suppose that leads us to who the person in the guild that we need to arrest? I don't even know what we're going to do about that. I haven't really thought that far ahead. Hmm. All right. Well, I suppose that might be an option too. Hmm. It doesn't get us closer to saving Andromeda, but it is something. We've got a lot on our plates. Well, do you have any other plans for the day? Oh, you might just need to ask. All right. We're going to end here and give everybody a little less than 2 weeks because we're on a weird day to figure out a plan of action. And I'm excited to hear what you all have to say on the matter. Uh, what is that? That is April the 12th. And we finally did it. Guys, I've been so excited. I've had that cutscene ready for like 2 months. Hello! I've been doing that so much, and it's so much fun. Uh, yeah, I've been waiting for the moment I finally got to reveal Telemar, and I'm so happy now. Uh, Great. I hope you guys had a good night, and I look forward to the next one. And hopefully, I will talk to somebody in the next week and a half. I feel like without guild activities, it's been a little harder to connect with people, but we're doing our best. Perfect. I saw that I saw that notification, and it was an announcement where I'm not allowed to post, so I couldn't respond. Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave you guys to it then and write some notes down. But you guys have a great night, and oh, and Meg, I will get you that file as soon as I can. Mm-hmm. All right. Yep. Have a good night, everyone.